problem with running 20 miles is that it works. You finish it. This was my Strava run for 20.06 miles. Now at first I was actually trying to do an adventure run for 3 miles. So first of all, one random day, I was in the gym with my friend, and there's this guy we used to chat with that also my friend knows as well. We go to him, I'm speaking to him, and I randomly ask him, which places should I go in New York City to explore? And he says Riverside. Riverside Drive is basically an area of the west side of the city, if you guys didn't know. I go when it's raining because later today it was gonna rain, so I wanted to go when it was raining. And I went to Riverside Drive. I went there. I went to the west side, and eventually I asked a lady to film a video of me, which you guys can see right over here. This is me running over here. I just got this lady to take like a quick video of me. This is around 2 miles in. This is pretty chill. It was pretty good. I wasn't hoping to go more than like 2 or 3 or 4, even 5 miles, honestly. Now, little did I know at the time, but I would be running 20 miles, actually. And along the way, it was a straight path. You guys can see it right over here. It's a straight path, and it actually went pretty well. I got to mile 7, and there was like this little bridge. It's called, I'll pull up an image here. It's called the George Washington Bridge. It's right in front of where I'm standing. You can see the bridge in the distance. And that is where I wanted to go. That's where I wanted to end the challenge, because I've never seen this bridge before and I wanted to see it. Parents would take me to this exact bridge in New Jersey to visit friend's house, cousin's house, or whatever. So I wanted to visit in person and run over it. I couldn't run over it. I don't think you can, but I did go beneath it. We're gonna talk about that like a little bit later. But as I'm running through Riverside Drive, my goal is to get to that bridge. So along the way, I start complimenting people just naturally. So when runners would go by, when they would be working hard, I would say, "Oh, good run." If a bike looked cool, I would say, "Cool bike." I would basically just speak to anyone alongside my trip, and it was a pretty beautiful experience. I talked to a lot of people, and a few of the people actually fist bumped me alongside my run, and I ran with the same group of guys for 7 miles straight. Think about that. You heard that right. 7 miles. I ran with a group of people. This is about 2 or 3 people. The third guy had to go because his knee was paining, but we went straight through the straight path for 7 miles until we reached the bridge, and that was pretty wholesome and nice. And after we parted ways, I remember I had to go through a staircase. I'll show like the picture here. I had to go up a staircase, and up the staircase I had to go all the way up. I go around a running track, which I was surprised. I randomly stumbled across a running track. Again, this is an explorer run in my mind. This is an explorer run, not 20-mile run. So I was okay, it's fine. And I go down, and I keep running until I reach the bridge. And by the time I reach the bridge, it says 11 miles. The most distance I've ever ran was 5 miles. So this is nearly double that. It's nearly double that. And a few of my friends did run 20 miles. So I wanted to match that as well. And I got the idea to do 20 miles at that point. Now it was in my brain, let's try to do 20 miles. It wasn't like we have to do 20 miles, but I had the sort of the inspiration to do 20 miles in my mind, in the back of my head, you could say. So eventually I came to the conclusion that I couldn't really go farther. I didn't really want to go farther. I didn't really want to explore farther. So what I did instead is, there's this circular track. I mean, I'll pop it on the screen for you guys to see. I ran over this track over 20 times, 50 times, however it may be. That got me from around 11 miles to, I think around, it got me to around 15 miles. I ran 4 miles over it, which was pretty big. The reason is, when I was running over this little track that you guys see up on the screen, I was literally dying by the end. It was on the phone I had, it measured in kilometers, not miles. So I had to ask people along the way. I had to wave to them and stuff, and I had to ask them how many kilometers it was. They would pull up Google, literally imagine this is my phone. They would pull up Google, they would search up how many miles is 20 kilometers, and they would put that in, and I get the miles, and I'd say, my house, they put the address into Google Maps, and they see how much miles is left. So I'd be calculating every 2 minutes how much distance I need to go back, whatever. It was basically very pain instilling. I was basically just checking the thing every 2 minutes, seeing how much distance I ran, because it was genuinely very painful. Genuinely, I had to keep going around this one track for literally 2 hours. It was around 2 hours. I'd go around this one boring track for 2 hours, and then I had to go from that track to all the way back home. So eventually, they told me it was 25 kilometers I needed to turn back, but they made a miscalculation, and I caught this on pretty hard. And I actually only ended up leaving around 20 kilometers, and then I went all the way back, which was perfect because when we get later, as I explain this later, I did eventually hit 20 miles in Central Park without even covering any extra mileage than I thought I would be. So that was pretty nice. And I keep running around this track. And then I go. And first I asked the guy, where's the nearest water fountain? He tells me the nearest water fountain's like a few blocks away. Just go to the, it's like a park nearby. So I go to that park, I drink some water from the water fountain, and immediately I felt like 3x better. It was amazing. Because this is around mile 15, and I haven't drank any water. No water at all. Which is kind of crazy. And I drank water, and then afterwards straight after, I went with one other guy, and we went straight for like 2 or 3 miles. I took a little bit like a 30-second to 1 minute break because my legs were paining so hard. I drank water along the way, and it was along the same Riverside Drive. It was along the same view as you guys can see in the picture. I'll have it linked up here. It was the same beautiful view, but it was darker, and there was sunset, and there was runners in front of me as well. I talked to a lot of runners on the way, by the way. I basically complimented every single runner that ran past me, any person that went past me, because just why not? I was just in that mood, and I was just in that very happy mood because I just finished 15 miles. I'm about to hit 20 miles. Why not? But I did have, as my energy levels went down, I also started like doing it way less. But that's a separate point. And as I'm going through this Riverside Drive, I have the idea to ask this random guy that I met on stretching tips, because after this I needed to stretch hard, or else my legs, I think I would not be able to leave my house like for days, which actually did happen because I didn't take his stretching advice seriously. I just go to sleep. We're gonna get to that in a second, but I actually did not follow anything he said until like the last minute, which could have saved my leg like by a considerable bit. And so I see the same guy, he fist bumps me, he goes in front of me because he's a bit more of a faster runner, since I was going a very slow pace. It was like a 12-minute mile for my 20-mile run, and I was going and I kept running, and I eventually reached the park where I entered the Riverside Park, and I asked a few of the locals for direction, just local New Yorkers, people in my city. And then I knew the area pretty well, so I ran all the way to the avenues connecting to Central Park. It's the streets that connect to Central Park, if you know what that means. And then I ran all the way straight to Central Park. Now, my idea of Central Park at this time, it was around 9 p.m. in the night, which is absurd, by the way. And since it is 9 p.m., I knew that Central Park might not be as safe because, one, people aren't there. It's dark. And I thought the police would just come out of the car and tell me to step outside the park and just use that area and not go through the park. Because the park, so imagine this is the west side, which is where I was on. This is the east side. I'm trying to get through this middle point to my house. And through there's the park. I have to go around the park if I want to get there without the park. No, to get to my home without the park. But if I go through the park, it's much less distance. So I eventually do that. And I thought I would be in an unsafe environment. People wouldn't be there. It would be all dark. It was dark, but there was way more people than I realized. Way more people. Now that got my guard down a lot less, and that was pretty good. And then I started going, reached in the middle of Central Park in a random grass field. I kid you not, a random grass field where like no one was. Random forest field, whatever it was. And on my phone, I see 32 kilometers. 32 kilometers, if you didn't know, is 20 miles. And I officially hit it. And immediately when I saw that, I just clicked it off. Because at this point, my home's like quite nearby Central Park, so it doesn't matter anyway. I clicked that off. I was done. I saved the run. I tagged my friend, who calls me up a few minutes later saying he's proud of me, which is pretty nice. And I walk straight out of the park to my home with no safety risk, no nothing like that. And it felt amazing. Even though my legs were destroyed, but it felt amazing. I told my doorman the whole thing. It was truly amazing. I reached home. I got a lot of electrolytes. I was researching stretching routines, doing all that stuff, but I wasn't really taking it seriously at the same time. And then I go to sleep. And then when my dad, he returns a few hours later, in the middle of the night because he was at a party, and I'm in pain. I'm in real pain because I can't, like, my leg cannot be extended. You guys can't see my legs right now because I mean this thing's a bit above, but you, like, literally my legs were in pain. Like they couldn't move. So my dad had to get one of those, like, I'll put up on the screen, these machine gun thingies. It's called a Theragun or whatever. That helped a lot. It killed the pain. And then I slept pretty good after. Now the next day I couldn't leave my house for days. Literally like 2 or 3 days I couldn't leave my house. It was so crazy. Like even 5 days later when I could go outside, when I was hanging out with my friend, he suggested to go on a run. He even saw the 20-mile run, so he's the one that inspired all this. This is the guy that inspired to do all this 20-mile run stuff. And he said, let's do a quick, like, mile to whatever place we're seeing, which was at the time a kayaking spot. I couldn't do it because my legs were that much of pain. It was insane how much pain my legs were in. But over the next few days, I mean, over the second day, it didn't really change that much, but by like the fourth, the fifth day, it dramatically decreased. And by like the end of the week, it was practically gone. So that was pretty nice. All the leg stuff went away. Pretty good. I didn't experience any like medical conditions or whatever. It was all pretty good. And I'm grateful that nothing actually like bad happened or anything like that. And then, literally less than 10 days later, I think, literally like 2 days ago, I went on a 13-mile bike ride all the way from like across New York City, basically through all of Brooklyn and Manhattan, which was crazy. I went through everything. But if you didn't know, Brooklyn and Manhattan are like one of the most populated areas in the city. And I went through all of that by bike, literally less than 10 days later, because I was so adventurous. I wanted to see literally all the places in my city, and I eventually used the bike to do like a lot of that as well, besides running, which was already a lot of pain. But by bike was like 10x more fun, and I spoke to a lot more people in the way. It was a lot faster, and honestly, it was an amazing experience. I went through 2 big explorations. One 20-mile run, which in itself is a pretty nice flex, and then afterwards, a 13-mile bike ride, which was also pretty nice. 3 things happened. I got to speak to a lot of people, which is pretty nice. I got to see many beautiful areas, and I got so many beautiful memories, which was all pretty good. And now, would I recommend to you guys to do this untrained? Absolutely. I got to talk to a lot of people. I got a lot of beautiful memories, and absolutely, I would recommend this to you guys. Now, although the leg soreness a few days after is a pretty big hit, honestly, it's not as bad as you guys seem like out to be. You can do this on bike, you can run, you can do whatever you want, honestly. Just seeing the parts in your city, your town, whatever it might be that you haven't seen is honestly a nice experience. And it can be even 10x better if you bring a friend along as well, which I'm doing tonight, by the way, as we speak. I'm going to do a bike ride with a friend tonight. But honestly, exploring areas by yourself or with people alike is pretty good. I would recommend this above anything. This is pretty genius. You just make so many beautiful memories along the way. It's pretty good journey. I hope you guys took something very, very good from this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bam. Look at this. Check this out. You see that pool over there? Guys, we're at like, I think kilometer 23 or something like that. Like, it is horrible. My legs, I can't feel them. I literally can't feel them. I just found my first water fountain. This is like the first time I got water in like over 6 hours. Right over there. But at least I'm going back, and I've actually made a lot more progress than I probably could have made. Like, obviously thought to have made. I think this connects, David Goggins' like 40% rule, where you think when you're giving out, you're actually only giving 40% of your effort. And I think that's what's happening right over here. Right now, I'm just trying to walk it off to get my my legs unstiff and continue heading back, because I do not want to come back home pretty late. Honestly, it's like almost 8 p.m. right now. It's crazy. But PS, guys.